do this. And we're going to work at the top of the mat at first and then move on. So make sure that your blocks are at the top of your mat. And then take your feet up to the top of your mat. Spread them out nice and wide. Spread your toes out nice and wide. Get a wide base in the feet. Lift the toes up, spread them out. Grab the ground with your toes. Just make sure you've got this nice solid base here. And then take the arms up on the inhale. Grab your left wrist with your right hand and stretch over to your right hand side. And find your breaths. Breathe into your back and breathe into your sides. Come on up and switch hands. Grab your right wrist. Lift up and stretch over to your left. Let your head rest on your left arm. All right, come on up again. Grab your left wrist again. Bend your knees and then cross your left leg behind your right leg and stretch to your right. So I'll put a slightly different angle into this so you can see. Crossing left leg behind right. And we're just getting a little bit more stretch through that left-hand side. All right, coming back through the center. And now you're going to cross your right leg behind your left leg. So a little bit of a bend in that left leg is great. It gives you a little bit more stability. And then stretch over to your left. Big breaths. All right, and then come on up. And from here, we're going to go through a number of sun salutations. I'm going to mess around with the sun salutations a little bit just to make them interesting. So we'll start simple. Take the arms up on the inhale, look up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stretch forward. Just check in with the backs of the legs. Exhale, fold. Do the couple more times. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Reach your heart forward, reach your tailbone back. Exhale, fold. Couple more breaths. Notice where your weight is. You may be favoring one side of the foot over the other, so make sure you have as much weight in your inner heels as you have in your outer heels. All right, when you're ready, plant your hands, step back, press forward, hold your plank for a moment, press your heels back, reach your heart forward, widen your shoulders out to the sides, and then use your toes to press your body a little bit more forward, and then exhale, lower down. You can drop your knees if you need a little help. Inhale into the tops of the feet, and exhale, downward dog. And walk it out a little bit. Press one heel down, press the other heel down. And just depending on how tight your calves are, Achilles tendons are, this might be really, really tight. So breathe into it. Relax your neck, shake out your head, nod your head. And look up, inhale, step forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, take it to the sky. And exhale, arms to the sides. All right, we're going to do another one of these, but we're going to come out of it a little bit differently. So take the arms up again on your inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stretch forward. Exhale, step back. Press forward, lift your chin. Take a moment and widen the shoulders, and then lower down. Tops the feet, inhale. Drop the shoulders down your back. Zip up your belly. Exhale, downward dog. All right, from your down dog, we're going to take your left hand off the ground. If that seems feasible, see if you can grab any part of your right leg with your left hand, anywhere from the hip to the ankle, and gently pull yourself into a little bit of a twist. And then let that go, and go for the other side. Grab any part of your left leg and then gently pull into a little bit of a twist. And put those hands on the ground. Walk your legs wide, so your feet are on the edges of your mat. Bend your knees and push yourself back. So you're going to walk back towards your legs. Once you're there and your weight is in your legs, grab your elbows again. And this time swing gently from side to side. All right, take the hands to the hips, squeeze the elbows toward the sky, bend the knees. Big inhale, come all the way up. And then step up to the top of your mat. All right, one more of these. Take the arms up on the inhale, look up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stretch forward. Exhale, step back. Press forward, lift your chin, lower down. Tops the feet, inhale. And exhale, downward dog. 5 deep breaths here. Relax the neck. Lift the armpits up and roll the shoulders onto your back towards your hips. And look up. Inhale, step forward, big toes touching. Exhale, fold. Come all the way up to the sky. And then exhale, arms to sides. Our sun salutation B. Take the arms up on the inhale, sit back into Utkatasana, drop the shoulders and try to pull the arms a little bit more in line with the ears. So you start feeling upper back and shoulders a little bit more. And then exhale, fold forward. Inhale, stretch forward. Exhale, step back. Press forward, lift your chin. Lower down halfway. Tops the feet, inhale. Exhale, downward dog. Right leg lunges. Inhale. Press into the outer edge of your back foot. Lift your front hip points. Drop your shoulders. Squeeze your inner thighs toward each other. And big exhale. Take the hands down to the ground. Step your right leg back. Press forward, lift your chin, lower down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Left leg lunges. Take it up. Press on the outer edge of your back foot. Squeeze your inner thighs together. Drop your shoulders. Look up. All right, big exhale, hands down to the ground. Step your left leg back. Press forward, lower down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. All right, take 5 breaths here. We're going to keep adding on to this. So take a moment, take about 2 more big breaths. Relax the neck. All right, right leg lunges forward. Drop your back heel, come into warrior one. All right, from your warrior one, you're gonna bring your hands down to the ground. Slide your left leg back a little bit so you can get your right thigh a little closer to parallel. Squeeze your inner thighs together. And then from here, we're gonna go for a side plank. So you're gonna plant that left hand on the ground. You may want a block under your left hand. Turn your left toes forward, keep squeezing your inner thighs together, and then twist to your right. So all 10 toes are pointing forward, and then look up. So that left hand really needs to press down pretty firmly so you can feel some lift in the left shoulder, otherwise you collapse in the left shoulder. All right, bring the hands back down. With that block to the side if you're using it, step back. Press forward, lower down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Left leg lunges. Take it up to warrior one. Drop the tailbone a little bit, lift the front hip points, and then you're going to bring the hands down to the ground. Slide your right foot back a little bit, get that left thigh a little closer to parallel. Zip up the belly, pull the feet toward each other. And then let's go for a little bit more hip. So you're going to put that block under your right shoulder, turn your right toes forward, so all 10 toes are pointing forward. Plant down into the ground or into the block and twist and look over the left shoulder. And then really firmly root down with that right arm so you're going to let them lift through the shoulder. Big breaths. All right, left hand back to the ground. Step back. Press forward, lower down. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, down dog. Right leg lunges again. Inhale, take it up. And this time open up for warrior two. All right, so once you're in warrior two, drop your shoulders. Pull some of your weight into your back leg, so make sure your torso is upright and not leaning into your front leg. Pinwheel your hands down the ground. Let's go for a side plank variation. So you're gonna put your left hand on the ground, walk your right foot off the mat, come to the pinky edge of your left foot, and take your right arm up. So I'm lifting my bottom hip up into my top hip, and I'm using my front foot to push down firmly into the ground. And then take your right hand to the back of your head and press your head back into your hands so you get a little bit of a back bend here. All right, right hand back to the ground, step your right leg back, press forward, lower down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Left leg lunges. Inhale, warrior one, and then exhale, warrior two. All right, so again, a little bit of a tendency to sink to this front leg, so pull your weight into your back leg. Drop your shoulders. Look straight down your middle left finger. Pull your feet toward the midline, so drag them toward each other just a little bit. All right, pinwheel down to the ground. Right hand under your right shoulder, walk your left foot off the mat to roughly 9 o'clock. Come to the pinky edge of your right foot, take your left arm toward the sky. Claw the ground, and then bring that left hand to the back of your head and press your head back into your hand. So bottom hip lifts up, top foot, left foot pushes into the ground. All right, left hand back to the ground, step back, press forward, lower down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Right leg lunges. Warrior one on the inhale, warrior two on the exhale, and then exalted warrior. So front leg starts to straighten a bit here. Make sure it stays nice and bent. Back leg lifts up toward the left hand. All right, it's kind of a weird transition, but we're going to keep this exalted part happening through the torso and straighten up your front leg for triangle. So you're going to feel a big stretch coming through this right side. All right, come back into warrior two, and then straighten up the leg and go for triangle the other direction. Right hand to the right leg, left arm toward the sky. Lengthen through the right side, push down through the back heel. Check with your front leg a little bit. So front leg knee should be lining up with the middle 3 toes. It tends to turn in toward the big toe a little bit. So if that's the case, tack your outer right hip back a little. Try to line up that knee with the toes, middle toes. All right, exhale, bring your hands down to the ground, step back. Press forward, lower down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Left leg lunges. Exhale, warrior two. All right, once you get a nice warrior two, keep that knee over the ankle. And then you're going to turn the palm of the left hand toward the sky and come into exalted warrior. All right, slowly start straightening up that front leg. All right, come back into warrior two just for a sec, and then you're gonna go triangle the other direction. Stretch out that left leg and we'll reach to the left-hand side, bring the hand down the leg. Again, try to get the knee to line up with the middle three toes. Push down through your back heel, lengthen through your left rib cage. All right, pinwheel down to the ground. Step your left leg back. Press forward, lower down. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, down dog. Right leg lunges again. Big warrior one. Okay, so we're gonna go for a twist. Bring your hands into your heart center. Exhale, fold. Take your right hand to your thigh. Extend your left arm forward and tack your outer right hip back. And then that back left leg should feel like a kickstand also, nice and super strong here. And then lift up your rib cage, twist to your right, hook that left elbow there. And then just take a moment to straighten up the front leg and twist a little bit more. And when you feel like you've got a little bit deeper twist, then bring that right knee back over the ankle. And then look over your right shoulder. Don't forget to breathe. Bring your hands down to the ground. Step your right leg back. Press forward. Lower down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Left leg lunges. Big inhale, take it up. All right, let's go for the twist on this side. Bring your hands into your heart center. Exhale, fold. Left hand to the thigh. Right arm extends. Left hip extends back. Right leg gets nice and firm. And then lift and twist. And then once you've got your right arm hooked to the outside of your left leg, straighten up your left leg a little bit more, twist a little bit more with your torso, and then bend that back knee over your ankle again. And breathe. And hands down to the ground. Step your left leg back. Press forward, lower down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Right leg lunges. Warrior one on the inhale. And then open up for warrior two. Okay, so this next one, we're gonna work on getting into a full bind. You might need your strap. So you're gonna take your right forearm to your right thigh. Take your left thumb and point it down. Bring the hand behind your back and slide it around, see if you can grab a piece of clothing on the right side or your inner left thigh, inner right thigh. Then we're gonna try to add in this other strap here. So here we are, breathing deeply. Go ahead and do a little triangle too. So straighten up that front leg for a moment and take that right arm and extend it. Just working a little bit more of our core. All right, come back into your warrior two. Now, if you think you're gonna need your strap, stick it in your left hand. And then you're gonna stick your tailbone out, take your right arm to the inside of your right leg, grab your strap, or if you're a little bit more flexible, grab your hands. And then you're gonna pull your hips back into line again. Lengthen your heart toward the front of your mat and gently twist your belly toward the sky. And you want to pull that right rib cage up away from your right leg a little bit, so try not to rest. All right, pinwheel your hands down to the ground. Step your right leg back. Press forward, lower down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Left leg lunges forward. Big inhale, take it up. And then exhale, open it for warrior two. Okay, once you're here, Astavakrasana, check in with a half bind. Left forearm to the left thigh, right arm thumbs down. Bring that hand behind your back. See if you can grab a piece of clothing or your inner left thigh. Hang out here for a bit. Okay, turn this into a triangle. So stretch out that front leg. Take that left arm out. All right, now we're gonna go for the fuller bind. So strap will go on your right hand if you think you need it. Thumb down, bring the hand around. Then you're gonna stick your hips back behind you. Take your left arm underneath. See if you can grab the strap or your hands, and then pull the hips back underneath you and reach your heart to the front of your mat. And then see if you can lift your left side up off your left thigh a little bit. Even if you're not succeeding, trying counts. All right, hands down to the ground, step your left leg back. Press forward, lower down. We're gonna lower all the way down to the belly for a moment. Roll the shoulders onto your back. Lift your chest up, lift your belly in, pull it up into your spine, and then take your hands off the ground. All right, plant the hands just behind you, roll the shoulders onto your back. Come to all fours, hips are over the knees. You slide your hands forward and drop your chest or your chin to the ground. Maybe your forehead. All right, and then let's find our downward dog again. Spread your fingers out nice and wide. Find down dog. Walk it out. Look up, inhale, step forward. Big toes touching, exhale, fold. Utkatasana, sink down, take the arms up. Exhale, straighten the legs, arms to sides. All right, bring your hands to your hips, step back, and you're gonna go into Prasarita Padottanasana. So legs are pretty wide here. If you spread out your arms, wrists should be over the ankles. Outer edges of the feet are parallel to the short edges of your mat. Take your hands to your hips and lift your heart. Inhale, squeeze the legs together, and then exhale, fold forward. So at first, we're just gonna work on shoulders. Squeeze your elbows together like you're trying to squeeze a beach ball between your elbows. Reach your heart forward. Exhale, relax. All right, bend the knees, inhale, come on up. Let's do this again. We're gonna try to grab the feet. So if you can't quite get all the way down to the feet, somewhere on the legs is fine. Lift your heart on the inhale, exhale, forward bend. Maybe hands to the thighs or shins. If you can get down to the big toes, go for it. And then as you inhale, you're gonna pull up on your toes and you're gonna press your toes down. So you're creating resistance here. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, fold. Pull up on those toes. All right, bend the knees, take the hands to the hips, inhale, come on up. All right, next thing, you're gonna turn your toes out. Come into temple or goddess squat, sink down. Lean forward a little bit if you need to, so that'll just help you stabilize. As you get stronger, you're gonna come more upright here instead of leaning forward. Tighten up your buttocks a little bit, and then just see if you can sink. See if you can get your hips closer to the same level where your knees are. All right, now lift your heels up. All right, heels down, inhale, come on up. Shorten up your stance, toe heel in, step up to the front of your mat. We're gonna go for a standing pigeon first. We're gonna do a couple different hip things. Spread your toes out on your left foot, bend your left leg. You're gonna cross the right leg on top, so I'll show from a couple different angles. And then from here, bend that standing leg a little bit more, and you're gonna get a little bit more right hip opening. So breathing deeply. Flexing the foot is a good idea. The reason why is if you're really tight in the hips, your ankle tends to curl in and you tend to put some stress in the ACL on the outside of the knee. So it's a neurological thing where you tend to overstretch a little bit of the ACL, but probably mostly the nerves around the ACL. So flexing the toes back gives your hip the sign that it needs to do a little bit more of the work here and not push the work off into the knee or the ankle. Remember to breathe. Okay, so if this is pretty easy for you, you can go a little bit deeper. If you want to go hands to the ground, that's another step. And then another variation is trying to either push your right foot into the inside of your left arm, so you can still get up on blocks. Press into the inside of the left arm. My left arm is pushing in, my right foot is pushing out, so you can feel it more in the hip. Another variation is to wrap your right foot around the outside of your left arm and tug on it. So now my left arm is pressing out and my right foot is pulling in. And then one more little trick you can throw in there is trying to press your shin forward into the back of your arm. And then you're really going to feel it in the hip. All right, come on out of that one. We're going to come back to this. So you're going to spread your toes out on your right foot, make a little shelf, cross that left ankle on top, hinge at the hips, bring your hands down to blocks, or you can keep them on your hips. If you feel comfortable enough putting your hands on the ground, go there. Big breathing. If you're a right-hander, this is the tight hip. And again, as you breathe, you're going to notice some things opening up here. You'll be able to get possibly a little bit deeper in the posture. So pressing your left foot into your right arm. So I'm pressing the two together. And that'll give you a little bit more work in that left hip. If you want to go even deeper, you kick that foot around and grab your right arm. So now my right arm pushing out. It gives you a little bit more of that gluteus medius minimus, a lot of IT band. And then if you want to add in even deeper hip muscle, press your left shin into the back of your right arm at the same time that you're grabbing. All right, and come on up. Okay, we're gonna do one more hip opener. This is a very challenging hip opener, but it's totally worthwhile because it really gets right into the spot that most of us are super weak. So you may need to use your strap just to help elongate your arm a little bit. You're gonna go for a forward bend. The block is gonna be on your left shoulder. And if you cannot grab your toes, put your strap around the ball of your foot. So the most important part of this posture is the spine. You want to make sure you're not compromising the spine. So you're sticking your tailbone out. You're actually going to widen your hips back and kind of widen your butt. You're going to reach your heart forward. And that's more important than whether or not the leg comes up. If the leg doesn't come up much, you're great as long as that spine's long. So grab a big toe or use your strap, and then you're going to transfer weight into your left leg. Start working on stretching the hips back and your heart forward. You can put a little bend in your left knee. You're going to take your right leg out to the side. So I've been doing this for a while. I've got some strength here. Not everybody goes this high. A lot of people are down here, and that's okay. So wherever you are is fine. Keep a tiny little bend in your left knee. Stick your tailbone out. Breathe. This is a great posture if you find yourself sitting a lot. So it strengthens a lot of those muscles that go very flabby from sitting. All right, take that leg down, take a moment and bend your knees, coming up, take a big inhale. All right, let's go for the other side. Spread your toes out on your right foot. That's your base leg. Fold forward. Take that block under your right shoulder. All right, grab your big toe. Reach your hips back, reach your heart forward. Think about the long spine. Use your strap if you need it. Transfer that weight into the right leg. Keep stretching your tailbone back and your heart forward, and take your left leg out to the side. All right, let that leg go. Bend your knees. Inhale, come on up. Ooh, and you should feel that those hips did some work there. Okay, spread your toes out on your left foot. One more standing pose. Grab the top of your right foot. Stretch your right knee toward the ground. So just working through these quadriceps. If you are really tight, then this may be the perfect posture for you, just stretching your knee toward the ground. You can also put a strap around your foot so that your foot is really down here, but you're still getting that stretch through the thigh by pressing your knee down. And then take your left arm toward the sky. All right, now see if you can grab your right foot with your left hand as well. See if you can grab your foot with both hands. Just open up those shoulders. And the same thing goes if you're using a strap. Try to grab the strap with both hands. All right, see if you can transfer that strap or foot into your left hand and now take your right arm toward the sky. And then we're going to do a little bit of a dancer. It's not going to be super deep, but push that right foot into your left hand. Can you feel that hip? And come on out of it. So that left hip had to do a lot of stabilizing. Let's go for the other side. All right, spread your toes on your right foot. I'll demonstrate from the back this time. Grab the top of your left foot or put a strap around your left foot. Stretch your knee toward the ground. Take your right arm toward the sky. So while you're here, left knee stretches down, so you're getting that quadricep stretch. All right, now we're going to switch arms. You're going to bring that right hand behind. See if you can get to your strap or your foot. Keep stretching your left knee down. All right, now see if you can get that foot or strap into your right hand. Take your left arm up. Keep stretching your left knee down. And then push that left foot into the right hand. Again, we're not going for a full-blown dancer pose. We're just trying to get a cross-body twist happening. All right, and let that go. And come back to the center. All right, take the arms up on the inhale, look up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stretch forward. Exhale, step back and find your child's pose for just a sec. Breathe deeply. And I did not put my watch on, so I'm going to grab my phone, make sure I can keep time here. Big breaths. All right, so from this place, let's do hands and knees. So we're gonna do the extension again through the hip. First thing you wanna do is take your right leg back behind you and your left arm out in front of you. Bend your right knee. Let's see if we can do that cross body stretch again. See if you can grab your right foot with your left hand. If you can't, just reach back with your left hand. Don't worry about grabbing the foot. All right, go back for the extension. Left hand back down, but this time walk your left hand off the mat a little bit. Bend your right knee, turn your right knee out to the side. Bring your right knee forward towards your right armpit. So I'll demonstrate from another different angle here. Right knee out. Then lift your right knee up so you can get it roughly parallel to the ground. And then extend the right leg out. And then look at your right toes. All right, and then bring that leg back in. Let's go for the other side. So extend your left leg back behind you, right arm out in front. Claw the ground with the left fingers. Bend your left leg. Lift up a little bit. Reach back. If that's all you can do, that's great. If you can grab your foot, add that in. Press down through your right toes. All right, let it go. Right hand down. Walk the right hand off the mat a little bit. Bend your knee. Point your knee out to the side. Bring it out straight towards your left shoulder. Lift your left leg up, and then extend your left leg out and look at your toes. All right, and then bring that leg back in. All right, one more child's pose, knees wide. Rest for a moment, get those hips nice and lined up. All right, let's go for a pigeon. So you can do pigeon on your back or on your front. Start with the right leg. So cross your right leg over, pigeon, and then if you're on your front side, I really like using a block here, putting the block under the forehead and resting your forehead on your block, and that is incredibly calming. It actually releases some oxytocin from your pituitary gland. So that's one variation there as you breathe into the hip. And always, if you have grumpy knees, tighter hips, this is a great option as well. So cross that right leg over, grab the back of the thigh or the back of or the front of the shin, and you can hang out here in this posture. Rocking from side to side is encouraged. So pick either of those pigeons, whatever works best for your knees. All right, left forearm is going to come in front. This is assuming you're on your front side. Right hand out to the side, lengthen and twist and look over your right shoulder. If you are on your back, you will drop your knees over to the left side. So if you're on your back, you can just drop that right foot down to the ground, a gentle twist. If you want to go for something a little bit deeper, then you can slide your inner thighs closer together. Try to get something that kind of resembles eagle legs and see if you can drop your knees that way. If you do that, make sure there's a little bit of a curve in the low back. There's a tendency to kind of tuck under and straighten your back out too much. So play with that. Breathe deeply. All right, slowly come out of this. Let's go for a pigeon on the other side. So if you're on your back, do a happy baby dead bug and roll around on your back. If you're on your front, go for a down dog momentarily. And then left leg comes forward. All right, so left leg crosses. Start with just your basic pigeon, whether you're on your back or your front. Breathe deeply. Tighten up that right thigh a little bit. And let's go for the twist. So if you are on your back, your legs will drop over to the right. If you're on your front, you will bring your forearm or shoulder, right forearm, right shoulder to the ground, and find your twist to the left. All right, unwind, and you do a down dog or a happy baby. So take a moment to just even things out. Now inner thighs. Let's get a little bit of inner thigh in there. That's going to help us with the next posture. So you're going to take your blocks. You can do this without blocks. So if you do this without blocks, just make sure you're using up your mat. And you're going to put your knees on the blocks. So my blocks are half on, half off the mat. My knees go on the blocks. They will eventually, over time, slide out more to the sides as they get more comfortable with this posture. Feet can be in close to each other. As you get a little bit more flexible through the groin, your shins will go farther out to the sides, so they're more parallel. And then kind of moving forward and backward, and even in little circles is helpful. Tightening up your buttocks is helpful because that actually supports those inner thigh muscles with those big muscles on the other side of the hips. I'm going to demonstrate this just in case you don't have a block. So hang out here for a bit. But if you don't have blocks, this is the old school way of doing this. You flip over your mat on either side, and that'll give you a little extra padding for your knees. And then you put your knees, one on the one side, one on the other side, and hang out on your forearms. Same posture, you just don't have that extra little bit of cushion from the blocks. So keep breathing, got a few more breaths to go. All right, come out of this and you will find this is a very similar posture to Astavakrasana. So we're going to come to a seated posture. Bottoms of the feet together, knees wide. So this is where a lot of us have that inner groin tightness and a little bit of tightness in the outer hips as well. And we're going to bring the feet together, open them up like a little book, and then bring your forehead towards your toes. So you're just rounding your back and getting a big stretch through the back. So round, try to bring your forehead towards your toes. You can also swing gently from side to side a little bit. Pull your chin into your chest. All right, next, we're going to try for this with straight legs. So this is a pretty tough one for a lot of us. Legs are out to the sides, kneecaps pointing up, toes pointing up. You might want your block here. And you're going to lean forward. And so at the beginning, maybe forearms on the block and breathe. The goal here is to really use your spine and to lift your chest. As you're doing that, you want to tighten up the tops of the thighs. So my thigh muscles are actually pushing my thigh bones down into the ground. I should feel like there's a lot of action happening as my thigh bones try to go down. When you do that, you're grounding your legs down in such a way that you're able to lift your spine out of your hips. So that's the goal, is how do I get my spine longer and how do I get my hips down and my thighs down more? So I'm going to demonstrate for this from the side. Stay here and breathe. What you want that is most important here is that you're sitting up super tall. So if you're in this position and you're rounding your back, then you're not really getting that lengthening in the spine that you want. So keep lifting your chest and lifting your chin and try to keep that length through the spine. Big breaths. Keep pressing the thigh bones down. Use those leg muscles. And as things loosen up a little bit, you may find that you may be able to come a little bit closer to the ground. But don't force it, because if you have to start rounding your back just to come closer to the ground, it's not really worth it. You're not getting that lengthening and strengthening through the spine that you want. Just take a quick look at your feet. So I know that I have one hip that's a little looser than the other. So my left toes are actually rolling in a little bit, whereas my right toes are pointing straight up. So check your toes, see if you can get toes pointing up, kneecaps pointing up. Check in and just see if you can help if something's a little misaligned on one side or the other. All right, come on up. Now, you're gonna bring your left foot in. So you're gonna keep extending your right foot. Bring your left foot in and press your left foot against your inner right thigh. You're gonna twist your torso towards your right leg and then go for a forward bend here. And again, this is where a strap is really helpful. Still pressing the right thigh bone into the ground, but you've also got that added bit of left foot and right thigh pushing into each other. All right, let's go for the other side. So extend that left leg. Now bring your right foot into your groin or into your inner thigh, as close as you can get. Now you're going to twist towards your left leg and go for the strap or the foot. Lift your left rib cage up a little bit. Press your left thigh down into the ground. All right, come on out of this. All right, now we're going to do the tortoise. So tortoise is great because it's a hip opener, groin opener, but it's also a shoulder opener. So you really want to press your shoulders out. So you're going to take your legs about as wide as your mat. So my feet are on each edge of the mat here. Then I'm going to take my arms between my legs. Then I'm going to take my arms down and then wrap them underneath my legs and see if I can grab my ankles or my calves. So I'm reaching down through the center, under to the side, and then grabbing some part of the leg. Now from here I'm rounding my back a little bit, but I want to lift my chin and lift my chest, and then keep breathing. You're going to squeeze your legs in and squeeze your arms out and keep lifting your chest. So it's like a little tortoise coming out of its shell. Big breath. Okay, now we're going to add in the hamstrings. So what we're going to do is slowly start straightening the legs and sliding your heels forward. Try to keep your heels roughly lined up with the edges of your mat, and you may not go too far. It just kind of depends on your hamstrings. So see if you can get a little straighter with those legs. You're going to start rounding the back a little bit. It's okay, but lift your chin and lift your chest. Keep squeezing the legs in and keep pressing the arms out. Zip up your belly. And I love this one because you can feel back to the thighs, outer thighs, and some people really feel groin as well. So it's a huge part of the hip mechanism that we're working with. All right, this can go into a lot of crazy postures, but try your best now to start walking your feet in toward each other. If you can get them in there, see if you can get one foot to stack on top of the other foot, and then drop your head. As you do this, you're going to start feeling a little bit more IT band in the outside of the legs. All right, now try for the other foot on top. So make a moment, just kind of readjust and see if you can get the other foot on top. That's all we're gonna do on that one, because that can get super complicated with your feet behind your head, and we're not worried about that right now. Okay, so now lie on your back. We're gonna do variations of different core postures. Lie on your back first, but because of all that bending forward we did, go ahead and let's just do a little work with the SI joints. You're gonna place your block under your hips. Take a moment there and then take your legs up. And because of all that curving forward and that hip opening, sometimes your SI joint, we didn't do a whole lot of asymmetrical stuff, but that SI joint can kind of get grumpy with you sometimes. It's 5 fused bones that are just above your tailbone, but there's no muscle there. It's all ligament and tendon, so it's basically just this kind of joint that's somewhat floating between your hips. It can often get really misaligned if one of your ligaments is a little tighter than another. So from here, just take a moment, get everything nice and lined up. We're going to go for feet to the ground again, and we're going to take the block 1 step higher. So go to your medium level with your block, get that block under your SI joint again, let your feet just rest on the ground. And remember this neutral feeling. So this neutral feeling in the low back area, this neutral feeling is something you want to maintain in a back bend and in most core postures. So just keep that in mind, because that's where we're moving, is core and back. And we want to make sure that this neutral feeling, this length you've got in your low back, stays there. All right, we're going to go into a slightly deeper back bend. So we're going to try to get this block up a little bit higher. If you are on the shorter side, or if you're just really tight, you may not end up going up super tight. So eventually you're going to go with the block lengthwise, but that may be too high for some people. So you've got some options here. Get the shoulders underneath you, press into the ground with your feet. So you can go block stacked on block, which is a little bit higher than you were before, and that's a good intermediate place. If you feel like you've got the flexibility, you can lift those heels up and get your block to its very highest level and stick that under your tailbone. And we're going for a little bit of a stretch here through the front of the hips. Grab the sides of your mat, roll your shoulders underneath you. Take a moment, breathe. Continue to allow your SI joint to rest firmly on the block, but start pushing your feet into the ground so that your quads are a little bit more engaged. You can add some extra steps in here. So if grabbing the sides of your mat and rolling your shoulders underneath you is inadequate, you want to get more shoulder opener, you can try to grab your block, or you can even try to clasp your hands together on the other side of your block and see if you can get your shoulders to roll again underneath you a little bit more. And then press the back of your head firmly into the ground. Make sure you're not collapsing through the neck. All right, and release, push your feet into the ground, bring your hips down to the ground, put that block to the side, walk your feet out to the sides of your mat and drop your knees in toward each other. Okay, let's do a plank on our front side and a plank on our back side. So we're gonna go for 20 breaths on the front. So you can go plank on your forearms or on your hands. It just kind of depends on your feeling about wrists, etc. So I'm gonna go for plank on forearms. And then you're gonna lift your hips up, lift your knees up, press your heels back, go for 20 breaths here. Reach your heart forward, shoulders draw out to the sides. And more breaths. All right, drop your knees. Take a moment in some variation of child's pose. All right, let's do an upside down plank. So you're gonna put one block under your shoulders, one block under your heels. And we're gonna extend and get as long as you can. So shoulders are on the block, heels are on the block, kneecaps pointing up. Take the hands to the back of your head and then lift your hips up and then 20 breaths. Try to get really stretched out. Four more breaths. All right, drop your hips and roll over to one side. Use that bottom arm as a pillow. Take some big breaths here. All right, see if you can reach behind you and remove that block. And you're gonna roll onto your back once you get it out of the way. All right, take your right leg up. Grab your big toe or put your strap around your foot. Extend your left leg. And then pull that right leg in. So we're actually prepping for a little arm balance here. Pull that right leg in. Press your left heel toward the ground. Make sure that left leg feels pretty firm. Now lift your head and shoulders up and bow towards your right leg. All right, now take that right foot into your right hand or the strap into your right hand. Bring your left hand to your thigh and take your right leg out to the side. And as long as your left hip doesn't pop up, you're in good shape. So don't worry about how low the right leg goes. Just make sure your hips stay level on the ground. So we've been working all the way through this hip socket. We've got a lot of the outer hips, inner hips, hamstrings now, inner groin. All right, bring that leg back up. Switch hands on your strap or on your foot and take your right leg across the body to the left. So you're gonna roll onto your left side a little bit. And if you feel a little tight in the hip, put your right thumb into your right hip crease and press your right femur bone away from you. Put some space there. All right, let that go. Let's go for the other side. Bring your left leg up. Pull that left leg in. Sort of paying a little extra attention to the hamstring on this leg here. Breathe deeply. Use your strap if you don't have your foot. Press your right heel down, right thigh down. All right, lift your head and shoulders up and bow towards your left leg. Keep pressing your right heel down. Head down, transfer your left foot into your left hand or your strap in your left hand. Keep that right hip down and press down. Make sure that right leg is firm as you bring that left leg out to the side. Look over your right shoulder. Breathe. All right, bring that leg back up. Switch hands on your strap or foot. Take the leg over to the right side. And then take your left thumb into your left hip crease and gently push your left hip crease away. Give yourself a little space there around the hip socket. And then look over your left shoulder. All right, and then come out of this one, and you're gonna roll from side to side. You can also roll up and down, but we're gonna come up to a seated posture. So this next posture has lots of variations and iterations. It's called Astavakrasana, and it is based off a wise yogi sage who was crippled at birth, and so it's the crippled man's pose. So it's really funky. So first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna take your left leg and then take your left arm under your left leg. So I'm hooking my left leg on top of my elbow, somewhere around my elbow. Nice deep breaths. Okay, so that's the first stage. So you're getting the shoulder stretch here as you're pulling the shoulder down. Try to roll the shoulder onto your back. First stage. Second stage is getting your right foot off the ground. So I've got both hands out here. My left leg is draped over my left elbow. Now, I'm lifting up both legs as I'm starting to work into the core here. See if I can take my right foot and place it on top of my left foot. So this is stage 2, and this can be really tough. So you hang out here, try to figure out how to balance, using a little bit of belly, hooking that right ankle on top of the left ankle. Nice deep breaths. Now, if you want to go into the arm balance, this is the shape that you're in essentially. And the arm balance, your legs are going to shoot off to the left a little bit more. So what you do is you put that right foot back down and lean forward, and I'll show this from a couple of angles. I'm going to grab the top of my left foot and see if I can hoist my leg a little higher. It doesn't have to get all the way up to the shoulder, but to see if you can get it a little bit more above the elbow. Then I'm going to turn my left hand down and then make a little shelf here. So I'll demonstrate so you can see the little shelf. So left hand down and then bending my elbow to make a little shelf. So my left leg hopefully is just kind of resting on the back of my left arm. Then you're going to do that same hooking action that you did before. Right ankle on top of the left ankle, and then see if you can get your butt off the ground. So that's really the hardest part, is pressing the hands to see if you can get your butt up. If you can, squeeze your inner thighs together, and then lean forward, breathe, and that's the posture. So see how that works. Breathe deeply. That lifting of the hips is really the challenge, but it's great core work and it's great hip work. So keep working on this side. Do a couple more. Breathe, 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 breathe. All right, let's go for the other side. So start simple because there's a lot going on here. So you're gonna lift that right leg, hook it over your right elbow. Here we are. And then breathe deeply. Let's see if you can lift your left foot off the ground. So there's some belly work happening here. Big inhales, big exhales. And let's see if you can hook your left foot on top, which is a little bit more belly work and inner thigh work. Breathe deeply, just see if you can hang out. All right, let's try for the full-blown Astavakrasana. So I will turn a little bit here. Left foot's gonna come to the ground. See if you can get your right leg a little higher, just a little bit more above your elbow. And that's just gonna help when you try to make a little shelf here. So leaning forward, grab your right foot with your left hand and pull it into place so you can take a moment and put that right hand on the ground. So my right leg is on the back of my right arm. I've got a little shelf that I've made with my right arm. And that might be it. That's okay. So breathe deeply here, if you can, so you can get that left foot to hook over the right foot, which is big. There's a lot of stretch happening in that. And then if you got it, then push into your hands and see if you can get your butt up off the ground, and then squeeze your inner thighs toward each other. Keep that right arm bent. Lean forward a little bit. Breathe. Astavakrasana. If you need to take a break, and I'll try it again. One more time on this side, or hold it if you think you can hold it for a while. So there's a lot of swinging hips around, which is why this can be really difficult, because women's hips are low center of gravity and guys' center of gravity is up closer to their bellies. So it's not that guys are necessarily that much stronger in the arms, they just have less weight to lift up when they do these postures. All right. Beautiful. Okay, from here, lie down on your back. Walk your feet up and then walk them out. So the feet are on the edges of your mat. Drop your knees in toward each other. Take some deep breaths. Okay, you can use a block for this or just a regular bridge, but make sure your heels are within touching distance of your fingertips, which usually means that your ankles are below your knees, a nice neutral place for the knees. Push into the ground. If you want to put the block underneath you, you can do that. Great. If you would rather do your own back bend without a block, grab the sides of your mat, roll your shoulders underneath you, press the back of the head into the ground. If you want to go into a bigger back bend, you can flip over onto your belly and go into a bow, or if you would like to come into your Dhanurasana, you can come into that posture as well. All right, and then slowly come out of posture wherever you are. If you're on your belly, rest your head on your hands, make yourself a little pillow. If you're on your back, walk your feet out to the sides of your mat and drop your knees in toward each other. And then find any way to relax that you want to. So Shavasana is particularly nice. You can also do Shavasana with a rolled up blanket under your knees. That is helpful for people with tight backs. I want a little bit more back bend, so I'm going to put blocks under my upper back and my head. And you can also go legs up against the wall. So a lot of different ways to rest. Just check in with your body, see what it wants. As you're breathing and relaxing here, Pay attention to the breath coming in and out of your body. So notice your belly rising on the inhale and your belly falling on the exhale. And as always, if you can stay here for a little longer, please do. If you need to get going, wiggle your fingers and toes, roll your wrists and ankles in small circles. Take your arms overhead and your legs a little bit closer together and take a big full body stretch. Big inhale, big exhale. One more time, hold it for a little bit longer. Take a big inhale, stretch it out. Hold it on 1, on 2, on 3, on 4, on 5. Big exhale, relax. And if you are choosing to get up right now, take a moment and roll over onto one side or press into your mat and come up. And bring your hands into your heart center, either mentally or physically. And take a moment. Come up with something that you would like to accomplish for yourself this week. It doesn't have to be a real major goal. It can be something really gentle and really simple. And once you found that thing that you are going to work on this week, something for your mental fitness, something for your body, then go ahead and bring your hands up to your forehead for kind thoughts, down to your lips for kind intentions. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.